and welcome. My name is Ann Kothawala, and I'm the President and CEO of the Convenience Industry Council of Canada. Premier Ford, Minister Bethlenfalvy, Parliamentary Assistant Buyers, and distinguished guests. On behalf of the Convenience Industry Council of Canada, it's my pleasure to welcome you here today. It's great to be on site at one of our local corner stores, who are convenient in good times and essential in tough times. Thank you to Steve Pitts, Nelson Couteau, Joe Morrow for hosting us here. Every year, millions of Ontarians count on stores just like these, an important staple of local communities. Soon, our customers will have even more choice at their local convenience store. We commend the Premier and Minister of Finance for your commitment to provide Ontarians with the convenience they want, while also giving thousands of Ontario retailers and producers opportunities to grow their businesses. Our stores in other provinces have been selling these products responsibly for decades. We look forward to bringing the successes of this model to Ontario, which ensures convenience and choice for our customers and a viable future for our retailers. Thank you so much, and it is now my great pleasure to introduce Minister of Finance, Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy.
Well, thank you very much, Anne, and good morning, everyone. You've done a great job leading the Convenience Industry Council of Canada, and thank you for being part of today's announcement. You know, it's great to be here in Etobicoke again with our great friend and the colleague and Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. And of course, he knows this because I tell them my parents live just down the street. My cousin Jane and John live on each side of Royal York. My aunt and uncle, my sisters, my nephew. So big responsibilities here in Etobicoke, and I can't think of a better representative, not only for Etobicoke, but all of Ontario than Premier Ford. I'd also like to recognize my parliamentary assistant, Rick Byers, who's done a lot of work on this file and getting us to where we are today. So thank you, Rick. I want to also give a big shout out to the many industry associations and partners who have joined us. They're just outside because the room was just a little too small for everyone to be here, but they are here and they are thrilled. And I want to also say a big shout out to, getting to today, and this is a big day for Ontario, for the people of Ontario. But it's also because of our great public sector workers, our Secretary of Cabinet, our Deputy Minister, Greg Orenchek, and the whole team in the public service who help us get to a day like today. So I just want to thank them for their public service. They're the unsung heroes behind all of us. Since 2018, our government has taken steps to give people more options to purchase their beer, their wine, and their cider. Depuis 2018, notre gouvernement a pris des mesures pour offrir aux gens plus d'options pour l'achat de la bière, du vin, et du cidre. We've made it possible to purchase alcohol with takeout and delivery orders at more than 18,000 restaurants and bars. It's now possible to support small local producers and buy alcohol at farmers markets. In all, we've expanded the sale of beverage alcohol to hundreds of new points of sale. But the Master Framework Agreement, signed by the previous government in 2015, limited us on how far we could expand the sale of alcohol in Ontario. This is because the agreement limited the number of and types of retail stores that could sell alcohol, creating less choice and creating inconvenience for consumers. Well, today, we're taking the next step to change that. And I'm very proud and pleased that today that we're going to share with you the information that the government has informed the beer store that the Master Framework Agreement will not be renewed after it expires on December 31, 2025. And as we take this step forward today, we will ensure that Ontario's alcohol retail landscape continues to be stable, smooth, and responsible. I'd now like to welcome my colleague, and it's a great honor to introduce Premier Doug Ford to the podium to discuss in more detail the biggest step yet by our government to deliver on our promise to consumers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. And it's great to be here in the great state of Etobicoke, beautiful Etobicoke. And I'm just waiting for the Minister, Beth Falvey, to move here eventually, because all your relatives are here and so on and so forth. And MPP Rick Byers, Rick, you've done an incredible job in this file, and we're very, very grateful. I also want to recognize Ann. And thank you so much for all the work that you've done, and all the stakeholders that are just outside this door. They've been absolutely incredible, and all our association partners that are here today. Thank you for joining us for this very special announcement. In 2018, we made a promise to you. We made a promise to the people of Ontario to bring beer and wine to convenience and grocery stores across Ontario. Today, we're thrilled to be delivering on that commitment with the largest expansion of consumer choice and convenience since the end of Prohibition almost 100 years ago. By no later than January 2026, people in Ontario will be able to buy beer, wine, cider, and other ready-to-drink alcohol beverages like coolers and seltzers at their local convenience store, just like this one, or at grocery and big box stores. Spirits like vodka, gin, and whiskey will continue to be sold at the LCBO. This expanded marketplace will give people more choice, more convenience, and more time. Folks, we all have busy lives, so just imagine on a Friday night in December, instead of being stuck in a long lineup at the LCBO, you'll be able to pop into your local convenience store or grab a bottle of wine at a local retailer or big box store before heading out to the holiday party. Or in the summer, you'll be able to buy a case of beer at a grocery or big box store while you're stocking up on food and snacks ahead of your vacation up north or out east at the cottage. These new rules finally put Ontario in line with Quebec and other provinces and pretty well everywhere else in the world, because there's absolutely no reason that people in Ontario shouldn't enjoy the same convenient shopping experience as other Canadians do. In addition to the expanded marketplace, we're going to remove restrictions on the size of bundled packages so that people can purchase a 12-pack, 24-packs, or even 30 packs of beer, cider, and ready-to-drink alcohol beverages, regardless of where they make their purchase. And we're going to make sure Ontario-made products, including wine and craft beer, continue to receive dedicated shelf space, and that local producers receive the supports they need to grow their sales and protect their workforce. This new open marketplace is going to create new opportunities for local brewers, wineries, and retailers. It's going to support local jobs, and most importantly, it's going to give people more choice and convenience. Friends, since we're first elected in office in 2018, our government has been working hard to make life easier and more convenient for Ontario families. All across government, we're putting customers first. We're modernizing outdated regulations and reducing and eliminating unnecessary red tape that costs people time and money. We're working for you. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
We'll now go to reporters' questions. If media could please identify themselves by name and outlet. It'll be one question and one follow-up. First question.
Premier, it's Richard Sutherland with City News. How you doing?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Are you excited about buying a case of beer?
Right now, I'm working, Premier. I might have to wait.
Why did that stop you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You might get some more favorable press. You bill it as a convenience factor. Pick
Sure
up some beer before you're going out to the dinner party.
Yep.
But do you think we really need, and do you think it's safe to be able to buy a White Claw at a gas station at 7 in the morning as you're going to allow?
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. You know, we got to start treating people like adults here in the province. It's right across our country. It's across all 50 states. To be very frank, it's across the world. We're the only jurisdiction that still had really an area that you could only buy beer in the beer store. And by the way, the beer store has been great partners, and we're going to continue working with them. And I just want to thank them, and I want to thank their team. We're going to continue having a great relationship with them.
My follow-up is from my colleague Cynthia Mulligan.
Sure.
She wants to know what's going on with you and Bonnie Crombie. It seems personal. You haven't congratulated her, which is standard protocol. Yeah. You say in the legislature she has a house in the Hamptons, which she doesn't. Yet you have a place in Muskoka and Florida. Are you afraid of Bonnie Crombie, sir?
No, you know something. We're going to continue focusing on what we're doing. Continue lowering taxes on businesses. The $8 billion we've lowered businesses and the burden off of companies, and that's why we've seen tremendous growth. We've seen $27 billion of EV investment. We've seen $15 billion in the tech sector. We've seen $3 billion in life sciences. And I just want to remind everyone, under the previous Liberals, they chased 300,000 jobs out of this province. As we stand today, there's over 715,000 people that have a good paying job, that can buy food and pay rent or get a mortgage. That's the difference between ourselves and the provincial Liberal government. They destroyed the province. We're fixing it. We're an economic powerhouse in North America.
Morning, Premier. Liam Casey with the Canadian Press.
Hello.
So the Auditor General noted the other week that your government didn't consult with Public Health Ontario on your previous moves to expand access to alcohol. Did you consult with Public Health Ontario or any other health experts before this announcement?
Yeah, well, thanks for that. I'll pass that over to the architect of this, and that's Peter Bethenvolve.
Thank you, Premier. You know, we consulted not only with a robust number of stakeholders. I'm pretty sure Public Health Ontario was part of that. But going forward, like this is just the first part of modernizing alcohol. We're going to continue to have a robust consultation period. You know, one thing the Ministry of Finance, who's been running this file, is good at is consultations. We do that for the budget, so we know how to do that. And we're talking to many socially responsible stakeholders because that's very important to us. In fact, part of this announcement is $10 million to help support those organizations because we take social responsibility very seriously. But as the Premier said, I think we've got a lot of experience in this and treating Ontarians as adults, I think, and a track record of responsible distribution and points of sale. This is a good day for Ontarians. Thank you.
You know, folks, I'll tell you, this is extremely popular right across our province. Very popular.
Premier, there's been a number of major reversals from your government over the last little bit. So how sure are you this decision won't be reversed down the road?
Well, you know something, I'm pretty confident. You know, the team that went in there and they looked at it, and they came back to us and said, you know, this just isn't realistic. They thought changing services, that let's say changing the police, changing paramedics, public health, social services, this wouldn't be beneficial for the people. Do you know what the biggest mistake is with elected officials, politicians across this country? They dig their heels in, even though they know it may not be the right decision, and they move forward. We don't do that. We run it like a business. If you have a business and you don't think you're going down the right avenue, you listen to the people, you listen to the stakeholders, and that's what we're doing. But we aren't getting rid of the bill. We're amending the bill, and services that similar to roads and land use planning, that's going to help us get more homes built a lot faster and more efficiently. Or tier government anywhere that I know of that doesn't want that ability to be able to build homes and work with their community.
Yeah, hi, Premier. Randy Rath from CHCH TV.
Hey, Randy.
The CAMH says that increased availability of alcohol leads to more consumption and the related harms. Is the increased sales going to bring in enough tax revenue to cover the increased costs that the healthcare system is ultimately going to have to shoulder?
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Randy. I think CAMH does an incredible job. We support them 100%, and I understand their concern. But you know, you can't have all of Canada, all the U.S., the entire world, being able to go into a big box store, a retailer, and pick up a case of beer or a bottle of wine, we got to treat our people of Ontario like adults, and that's what we're doing. They have a responsibility to drink responsibly. Don't drive. Take an Uber. Take a taxi. But that's what we're doing. We're actually treating people like adults, and I have all the confidence in the world in the people of Ontario that they're going to be responsible.
With the changes to winemakers in the province, do you expect the cost of a bottle of wine bought at a winemaker's store to go down by 6.1% since you're dropping the base tax?
Well, I'll tell you, before I pass it to the minister, all the sector is as happy as they could ever be. And they've been great partners, with the great consultation that Rick and Peter have done with the sector. They tweak some things, but I can tell you I've never seen that sector smile as much as they're smiling right now. We're making ourselves as competitive, if not more competitive, than everywhere else in the country. That's what we need to do. We have to support our wine grape growers. We got to support our wineries, large and small, and I'll tell you, they're very, very happy today. But I'll pass it over to Peter.
Yeah, thanks, Premier. Thanks for the question. No one likes taxes, and I think what the wine sector really wants is they want a level playing field. They want a shot to compete. I think that makes all the sense in the world. So this is going to help, and we have a good industry in Ontario, and we're always going to level a playing field where businesses, small business in particular, can compete, and we're always going to fight and defend Ontario businesses. So that's just another example of something that was put in by the previous government that we're saying we're helping them out by taking it away, and they can just choose whether they want to pass that savings on to their consumers or reinvest in their business.
Hi there, Alan Hale from Queen's Park today.
I know.
Hey, so I appreciate that you are saying the government doesn't like to dig its heels in and you're willing to change course, but sure. Hazel McCallion was always saying that you need to do your homework, and it really does seem from the outside, at least, that this government continues not to do its homework. You keep making these policy decisions that you seem to personally champion, and then you end up having to reverse them. Like we have the green belt, we have using the notwithstanding clause, we have all these things, and now you are going back on the Peel region thing. So when can we expect this government to start thinking more about how these policies are going to play out before passing them?
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate the question. Isn't that a good thing that we're open-minded? We listen to people. You name 3 things. I can sit here and name 500 things that we move forward to make it a lot more competitive in the marketplace for businesses to come here. We're fixing the healthcare system. We've seen 25,000 people come off the backlog surgery list. We're building $50 billion worth of hospitals in 50 areas of this province. We've made, opening a business here in Ontario a good thing. I talked to a lot of our counterparts in the U.S., and their comments are, "Wow, what are you guys doing up there? It's incredible." We're eating their lunch, to be very frank, right now in all sectors, and so we're doing an incredible job for the people of Ontario, reducing taxes on the backs of taking the taxes off the backs of the people. No matter if you ever drive down the street. Just down at Pioneer gas station there. Last night I drove by, it was $1.30, 0.4. Just imagine if we didn't take the 10.7 cents off. That's saving millions and tens of millions of dollars going back into people's pockets. The little license sticker tax, we reduced that. We're giving a tax break to the lowest 1.1 million people with the LIFT program. And I could go on and on and on. So it's a good thing. And talking about my good friend Hazel, we had a discussion many times about this, but I'll tell you something about Hazel, and you can ask, be it her son or family or good friends. If we sat down and I said, Hazel, taxes are going to be in double digits. It's going to hurt the people of Mississauga. It's going to hurt the people. And by the way, she was just as popular in Mississauga as she was in Brampton and Caledon. She'd say no. But what she would be in favor of, making sure that the lower tier governments, be it Mississauga, Brampton, or Caledon, have the ability and the authority to get shovels in the ground and start building and building homes. You know, you look at Hazel, she built Mississauga. And the last thing Hazel McCallion would ever want is to increase taxes. That's the last thing. And that's what we're doing. We're listening to the team, the folks that we put in there to review everything, and they've come back and given their suggestions. Wouldn't it be terrible if I ignored that, dug my heels in? That'd be the worst thing to do.
Okay, but it seems like you keep putting out these policy ideas that people point out to you beforehand are going to have problems, and then you recognize it afterwards. Like, so you're talking about that you're bringing legislation next session about to help landlords get rid of professional scammer tenants. Now, can we be confident that this legislation will be completely thought through? And not something that needs to be reversed after landlords use whatever you're going to propose to cause mass evictions.
Absolutely. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask my team to send over the binder that thick of all of our accomplishments to make Ontario greater and better. And we'll run through it, because there's literally hundreds and hundreds of items that we've made Ontario better. It's as simple as that. And we're going to continue making sure that we have gains moving forward. And you look at, and these are pretty good numbers here. We have created more jobs in Ontario, double the amount, than all 50 states combined. I'm going to repeat that. We've created more jobs in Ontario than all 50 states combined. We are an economic powerhouse, not only in North America, but around the world. We're going to continue being the leader.
Hi, Premier. Mike Crawley from CBC.
Hi, Mike.
I've heard it reported that you don't actually drink alcohol yourself. Could you?
No.
So some people wonder, like, why is it that you make this a priority for your government?
Well, you know something, when we make a promise, we like keeping the promise, and we want to make sure that we're in line with everyone else in the world and across Canada. Being able to go into a store, you're buying a steak, grab a bottle of wine, and go home. That's a good thing. And we know it's a good thing. We've talked to a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders. This is a real positive announcement that we're finally, getting in line in this time and age that people can actually be responsible and buy a bottle of wine. Do you remember the days? Now I'm aging myself. The younger folks won't remember this, but Mike, you're up there with me. Do you remember the time you'd go in with your parents and you'd sign a little slip and you'd slide it through to the person at the LCBO? All the booze was hidden. It's unheard of. Remember the days, folks, that we could not shop on a Sunday? You know, these are the changes that we're going to make, and just make it more convenient and really be like the rest of the country.
And I heard your answer about Hazel McCallion and how
Yes.
she would, not appreciate a tax increase.
Yeah.
But do you feel even maybe a tiny bit guilty that you're breaking a promise you made to her after she died?
No, not at all. We were best of pals. And I knew Hazel very, very well. If I told her the situation and she spoke to folks in her circles, and I know a couple people that were very close advisors to Hazel that at one time thought it'd be a good idea to have a standalone city. But when you say we're going to hurt public health, we're going to hurt social services, we're going to split up the paramedics, we're going to split up the police, and we're going to raise taxes, you know what Hazel would say? We can't do it. But she would say, give me more powers on a local level, which we're doing, to be able to build homes. And I know that's what she'd be saying. And the other people I've talked to her that have known her very well would say the exact same thing to her, and she'd agree.
Hi, Premier. Laura Stone, Globe and Mail.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. Just on the Peel issue, I hear what you're saying, concerns about taxes and things like that were brought up by Patrick Brown, for instance, but the process hadn't actually been completed. The Transition Board didn't come back with anything. So why are you abandoning it sort of mid-ship as before it's even done?
Well, we've talked to the transition team, and I just want to thank the transition team. I want to thank the chair, John Levy. I worked with him at City Hall, one of the brightest people when it comes to municipal issues in the province. And when they recommend not to do something, wouldn't it be the wrong thing to do? Is you have a transition team and you totally ignore them? But we are amending the legislation. We aren't getting rid of it. We're going to give the lower tier municipalities, and out of 444 municipalities in this province, I don't know of one of all 444 mayors and wardens that don't want more authority to have, for planning, land use, and other areas that they're going to focus on getting homes built, getting more revenues into the coffers for their municipality.
Okay, thanks. And just on today's announcement, you first promised this in 2018. It turned out that was a bit more complicated and a lot more expensive, I think, than your government had initially thought. Looking back, do you think that maybe you overpromised 6 years ago or almost 6 years ago when you said you were going to do this? And can you explain to people why it's taken so long?
Well, it's a very complicated situation, but the most important thing is, we got it done. The framework agreement is very complicated, and I'll let the minister Bethlenfalvy tell you some details about how hard it is to move forward with so many different sectors. But the good news is we get things done, and we got this done. Sorry, Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Premier, and thank you, Laura, for the question. It is complicated for sure, but this is a big win and big day for all Ontarians. As the Premier said, the many industry players that have been asking for decades, in some cases decades, for changes, and had to watch the Master Framework Agreement monopoly for the beer store over 7 years. It was a challenging time, and earlier, we got together with them just a few minutes before, and I've never seen so many of them smile. And I said, take a picture. I want a record of this, that they're smiling today, and it is a big day. The framework is ending. This is good news for Ontarians, providing convenience and choice. It's a commitment that the Premier made. I'm very pleased to be the minister to execute this agreement with the beer store, and we'll continue to have conversations with them. But let's be clear, this is something that we want to ensure is a smooth and stable transition with that complexity, and beer store will play a role in distribution and recycling, which is very important to Ontarians. The LCBO will play a role in wholesaling, and this allows for up to over 8,000 new points of sale to be able to sell alcohol at convenience stores and grocery stores. And I'm very proud of that today. And I'm very proud that the Premier made that commitment, and we've honored that commitment to the people of Ontario.
Hi there, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
Considering you anticipate as many as 8,500 outlets to be able or wanting to sell this alcohol, I'm not hearing anything about any more resources on the enforcement side with more inspectors for AGCO. Is there any more thought to adding some more muscle on that end of things so they can handle taking a look and making sure everybody's complying with the rules?
Sure, good point. I'll let the minister talk about that.
Yeah, thank you. A very important question. We have a pretty rigorous regime of regulation and guardrails and enforcement as we do through the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. And, they're an interested stakeholder as the process as we move forward with the details on how we advance a modern alcohol framework. We take the social responsibility aspect of what we're announcing today extremely seriously, and that's why we're going to continue to engage with folks like the people at the AGCO, multiple ministries, and as well as the multiple stakeholders who have a very strong interest in making sure that Ontario is the safest place for consuming alcohol, and that rules and regulations are being followed, including the many convenience stores who have a track record of selling tobacco and lottery tickets very safe, with a very rigorous program to making sure that that is done the most effective way, and that's just part of the consultations that we'll engage with on an ongoing basis over the next little while.
And some of the people, I think, who might be caught up in this move to modernize are people who work at the beer store and the LCBO right now. Can you speak to them and some of the anxieties they might be feeling, thinking that their jobs might be on the line, and something I think the government's kind of acknowledged as possible?
Yeah, well, we're going to continue working with a great partner in the beer store. They do some great jobs, like delivery is one, recycling they do great job on as well. And LCBO, it's a great Crown asset, and it's not going anywhere. They do an incredible job for the people of Ontario. They have selection, so if someone wants some exotic wine or some other drinks, they can go to the LCBO. I'm very proud of how the LCBO is running right now. It's a great profit center that we can take the profits from there and invest it into healthcare and education. That's what we're going to continue doing. So, LCBO, you're doing a great job.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi, Premier. Kayla Williams with CP24.
Hey, Kayla, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Just a quick question as far as what would be your message to Ontarians that are listening today and they're saying, okay, you know, the message here is convenience, and that's great. However, what they really want is to see the prices when they walk into a convenience store or to a grocery store go down, as opposed to the accessibility of liquor, and that today's kind of missing the mark on what real Ontarians are really struggling with right now in this day and age.
Well, you know something, let me address it this way. The market dictates. And when you get the big retailers, be it the Costcos of the world, the Loblaws, the Metros, the Sobeys, you know, dealing with buying this, they're going to have a choice. Either lower the cost, keep it the same. We want to be competitive with Quebec. I know many people, including my friend Peter, he goes to Quebec, visits people there, and guess what? He can go into a Costco and get a case of beer a lot cheaper than they can in Ontario. The market will dictate, and let's see what happens. But I'm confident that eventually you'll be paying less than you would in a monopoly for 100 years, and that was at the beer store. I'll pass it over to you, Peter.
Yeah. Thanks, Premier. You know, I did grow up in Quebec, and you know, since the 70s, people have been able to buy wine and beer in convenience stores and the dépanneurs. Look, we're moving forward today with dynamic and competitive pricing, as the Premier just said. This is a good day for the consumer to have choice, to have convenience, and to have competition. What an incredible principle, so that you know, the consumer will be able to have that and the opportunity in businesses to compete. This opens up 8,500 points of sale. I think this is an important day in the evolution of a 100-year market that, you know, the Liquor Control Board started in 1927, so it's almost 100 years. We didn't want to wait for the 100-year anniversary to reform alcohol distribution in Ontario. So we're doing it with our partners and stakeholders. We're doing it through consultation, and I think this is a great day for those Ontarians right across the province who want convenience and choice and price opportunities. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, and my follow-up would be, you mentioned that, you know, it's time to let adults in Ontario be adults, but the reality of it is that we do have children, we have young kids that can access grocery stores and convenience stores at any time of day. And when you take a look at some of the marketing on some of these packages, I'm sure there's a lot of parents who may be concerned that it will be very easily accessible for young children to reach for the wrong product once this comes into effect.
No, that's just not going to happen. The convenience stores, owners, and associations are very responsible. It's no different than buying a pack of smokes or, like Peter said, a lottery ticket, but they're going to be responsible, and very, very confident they'll be that way. And again, I can assure you, as I'm standing here, you will be one of those people going in the convenience store. You'll be going to one of the big retail, and you'll be buying a bottle of wine. You'll be buying maybe a case of beer, or coolers or seltzers. This is a good thing. Folks, we're so blessed to live in Ontario. I have the opportunity and the privilege to talk to a lot of people around the world, and we have such a diverse community. You talk to a lot of people around the world. We are so fortunate to live in the greatest jurisdiction anywhere, right here in Ontario. We're moving in the right direction on the economy, on putting money back into people's pockets, of attracting new opportunities and new jobs right here in Ontario. I always say you create the environment and the conditions for companies to come here, and companies and people will thrive and grow and prosper. Well, we're going to make sure that Ontario is the most prosperous jurisdiction anywhere in the world. We'll always look out for the people of Ontario. I want to thank each and every one of you. This is a new chapter in Ontario. It's fantastic. And again, I just want to thank everyone, all the stakeholders involved, and yourself, and obviously Rick and Peter and the deputy ministers and so on and so forth. And a big shout out to Secretary of Cabinet Michelle D'Emmanuel, true champion, true leader down at Queen's Park. And I'm not a drinker, but I'm tempted to go back there, crack up one of those, whatever they are, ciders, and take a little swig. But I won't do that. I'll do it at another time. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. Thanks.